Hello everybody and welcome to this Train Sim TV video. This is Mark. So we're taking another one of our short run trips. We're going to be taking a run from London Waterloo down to Woking. This is a scenario from Cynx Workshop, which I'll go through in a minute, that I wanted to download for the Portsmouth Direct London Waterloo to Portsmouth route. On the screen at the minute you can see that it says, "Hello driver, welcome aboard this South West train service to Paignton. This service is formed of 5 coaches in the form of a 3-car 159 plus a 172 car combination. Please open the doors here at Waterloo and wait for your departure. For this part, you will go as far as Woking, calling at just Clapham Junction after leaving. It's busy, but you should fare alright as it's a period just before the evening peak. Good luck." So whilst we're setting up the cab here, I will take a look at the scenario information, and that is that it's 1L41, the 1420 Waterloo to Paignton. As I said, the scenario is available from Cynx Workshop. There'll be a link in the description so you can download that. It's part of a 2-part scenario. The second part of the scenario is on the railways of Devon and Cornwall route, and you can drive the train from Honiton down to Paignton on that route. So we're just preparing the train here at Waterloo. We're due off in about 2 minutes' time. Just gonna set the cab up. Don't know what I'm doing with the lights here. There we go. So yeah, we've got a 3-car 159, coupled to a 2-car 172, which would be removed in reality at Salisbury. So the second part of this scenario will just have the 159 on it. A lovely busy scene here at Waterloo. So this run that we're doing today is about a 25-minute run, just down to Woking, about 30 odd miles or so. We should be due to depart in just a minute. There's some reasonable frames per second actually at Waterloo to say, can't be worse than this. Nice little combo, 158 plus 170, 159 plus 170 even. Always love this bit coming out of Waterloo, keeps you on your toes. So that keeps me on my toes anyway, looking at signals. Last time I drove this route, I seem to remember my FPS was way lower, so quite enjoying it so far. Let's see what frames do we get at get to Clapham. I'm getting 31 at the minute, which on this route's not that bad. So again, we're due to stop at Clapham Junction in 3.5 miles, and then our only other stop on this scenario will be Woking. That'll be in about 25 minutes time. Working his way over here onto the, what I guess is the down fast. I'm sure it's got some other name that I'm not aware of. £50-mile-an-hour limit now, so we can get the power down. So this scenario is based in the year 2006. These services used to run from Waterloo to the West Country on a regular basis until 2009. December 2009 there was a timetable change, and South West Trains beyond that point no longer ran any further than Exeter. Prior to that they used to run services every day to Paignton and Plymouth, and also Penzance as well. Those services have been in place for a number of years. I'm not sure whether they started when the Waterloo stuff went to the Western region and stuff like that in the 60s. I know the Western region had services from Waterloo to Exeter with warships and stuff like that back in the day. I'm not sure if those services to the Paignton and whatever started then, or if they came a bit later in the 80s or NSE days. But certainly in NSE days the services were hauled chiefly by 50s, 47s and 33s. The 159s took over from the 33s and 47s, obviously, and massively improved service reliability, that much is for certain. When I've been on these 159s on these services, I've actually quite enjoyed them. They're pretty decent to ride on. Done a good job of bowling myself out there. I like these little lashup units, you know, where you get two different classes, you get the two different sounds. I think it's quite fun. You know, the mix of sounds, one from the turbo and one from the 159. Starting to see the FPS get hit a bit now as we're obviously coming in towards Clapham Junction. Down to 24, which still, to be fair, isn't bad. Get a screenshot of the city behind us. Start braking for Clapham in a second or two. So in terms of what pack we're driving here, it's the Network South East 159 pack off Steam with the Armstrong Powerhouse Class 158/159 Cummins Enhancement pack installed on top. Probably one of my most used enhancement packs, to be honest. It seems to get a lot of use because of how many areas the 159s and 158s, or 158s particularly, is running, obviously. Certainly found myself needing it for a lot of scenarios, so it's certainly obviously a worthwhile purchase. You find it's required for a hell of a lot of scenarios these days. Still managing to hit 17 frames per second here. I'm quite impressed for Clapham Junction in TS. I thought we'd be below 15. So we're just bringing this down into a stand now at Clapham, and then we'll be right away next stop Woking. Our stop board's just in front of the 5-car one, see if we can actually hit it. Slow down a bit too soon. Bang on time though. That'll do. Pair of 456s over there, departing. As we just wait for the right of way now. All sorts of AI. I do love the amount of AI you see on these scenarios. Sure, I forgot to do the destination. Getting quickly chased out by this dude. Oh, I like that scene. Woking then, 20 miles away. We should in theory be straight down the fast now, I would have thought. Heading out down the southwestern main line. Routing for this service would be through Woking, Basingstoke, then along to Worthing Junction, where the line to Southampton heads straight on. Southampton, Bournemouth, Poole, Weymouth. We would turn right at Worthing Junction, head through Salisbury, which is where the 170 would be detached, and then onwards along the mostly single track section, the West of England main line, through places such as Gillingham, Yeovil, or Yeovil Junction, then carry on through Honiton, over Honiton Bank of course before that. Always an impressive piece of running on that line. And then carry on through Exeter Central down to Exeter St David's, where the train obviously reverses. After that reversal, continues on to Paignton via Newton Abbot. And obviously the Penzance and Plymouth versions of these services would have gone the other way. Certainly a long old run from Waterloo. Catching up to the 455, I think this is the one that left Waterloo just in front of us actually. Or maybe that was the other one that's just behind us. As we head now towards Wimbledon. I was hoping to get a screenshot, but we've got the flyover between us. Another South West train service there from the West Country, they're just going past. As we now prepare to head through Wimbledon at 75 mph line speed. Just give a blast on the horn. No idea why I just did. I assume the F there is for fast line. I always just love going on steam tours. The odd one I've had out of Waterloo, where you get routed down the fast along it, it's always a beast of a run, especially if you're not on one of the ones that, because most of them always seem to go through Staines that way round. If you're lucky enough to get on one of the ones that comes directly down the fasts, which is quite rare, screaming through Wimbledon and Surbiton at 75 behind a Boy Pacific is fantastic. Had one with Tanmere back to, I think it was back to Wareham or Weymouth, one of the two. Yeah, Kingfisher Rail Tour, about 15 years ago. And we had the fast line through Surbiton. I still remember it going wailing through with a whistle. Bit different with a 159 to be fair, but still fun to drive all the same. So we're coming up to where the limit goes up to 80 in a couple of minutes. I guess that's probably around the Surbiton area. About 10 minutes until we get to Woking, because as though we're shifting along nicely. And of course, if you do download this scenario pack, you don't have to own the requirements. It's a pack of 2 scenarios. You don't have to own the requirements for the Railways in Devon and Cornwall section to run this scenario. So say you've only got the requirements to run the section on one of the routes, you can still download the scenarios and play the one that you can drive. You don't need to have the requirements for both. I think it's obviously a case of knowing which loco requirements you need for the South Western Main, for the Portsmouth Direct version that we're playing here. Always amazes me how the south side of London, how much slower the lines are. I suppose because it's a lot more populated and stuff, I guess, and third rail. But when you think when you come out of King's Cross or Euston, by now you'd be storming along at 125 on an express service to Birmingham or Leeds or anywhere like that. When you come out on the southern, you're 10 miles out of Waterloo and you're still only able to do 80 miles an hour. It just shows how sort of different the high speed stuff on the north side is to the south side. Same out of Paddington as well, for that matter. You can storm along. But I think I always like the southern side because of the amount of trains and everything. It's just so much going on. Always something to look at. So this is Surbiton. Line speed goes up to 90 just after here. Full power again to get us back up to 90 miles an hour. Just easing the power back now, we've hit 90 miles an hour. 9 miles to Woking, so we won't be long there, 7 minutes or so. Frame rate at the minute's bouncing around between 50 and 60, which is reasonably good. Trying to get a screenshot still for the video cover, for the thumbnail. Obviously this part of the scenario is the short part. If you play part 2, that is the more extensive part where they run from Honiton into Exeter, the reversal then through to Paignton. As a part, but there's a 2-part scenario, it's excellent. This 25-minute one is a perfect little time for. I love these little scenarios. When I make my own, I quite often end up making really long ones, but I quite enjoy these little ones where you can just jump in. You know, when you got half an hour free in the morning, just jump on the PC, have a little play, and then turn it off. You don't have to sit there for 2 or 3 hours. I'm a big advocate for, you know, scenarios that are done in parts like this. I think it's a good idea. I really enjoy playing them. Not far at all to Woking now, just 4.7 or 4.8 miles. And this is Byfleet Junction, so that's where a lot of steam tours and stuff that have been over the years. Say they come out of Waterloo or Victoria and they go into Weymouth or somewhere, they'll go around the Staines Loop and then join back in there from the fly under. And I think a lot of that's to keep them out of the way, stop stuff such as this tripping over them. That's why it's quite cool when you do get one of the rare ones that go straight up the fast, or particularly up the fast, or even up the slow for that matter. Always a bit of a faff on an evening if you're on a steam tour, or even a diesel, mainly steam tours, coming back and you get to Woking and then it's going to Waterloo. If you're on a unit or something, you can do it in, like we have here, 25 minutes. On one of those steam tours, it can end up taking nearly 2 hours going via Staines, you know, an hour and a bit sort of thing. That's why a lot of the time when I've done those tours, you dive off at Woking and get a unit into London and save yourself an hour getting home. So we're just 200 bit miles now from Woking. Going to get ready to spot our braking point in a moment. Shut the power off. I'll start braking gradually. Trying to bring it at a nice controlled pace. I've managed to slow down far too much there. There we are, we've arrived at Woking. Hope you've enjoyed today's short run video. Just a quick rundown there from Woking to Waterloo to Woking. Scenario is part of a two-part pack from Cynx Workshop. 1L41, the 1420 Waterloo to Paignton. You'll find it on the 2000 to 2009 scenario page. There'll be a link in the description to that. Thanks very much to Cynx for making this scenario. It's been a good little run. I'm sure part 2 will be epic as well. And thanks very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment. We do appreciate your follows as well on Twitch, and you can find us on there at twitch.tv/trainsim_TV, and we usually live at 8 PM on a Saturday. Cheers very much for watching, guys. See you later. Goodbye.